Hello, my friends. AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink. Welcome back to my face and my card making space. And what most likely will be video 2 of 2 this evening. It's Super Saturday for STAMPtember, which means multiple STAMPtember collab sets were released tonight. I got 2 videos done of the 3 sets that were released. No promises on the third because I'm just doing what I can. But like always, I have links to all the things, the whole set of collabs, what's still available, etc. And like always, I will link to the brand. I've been doing that every single time because as the sets either sell out or will no longer be available in the future, there will be a link to the brand, and there's so much to choose from. Just stamps and dies and products and all the things, you know? So I think that's that on that. I'm starting to sound very much like a broken record, but you never know when someone might stumble across this video, or if you're new, hello and welcome. But yeah, for those that are new or not aware, STAMPtember is just a month of massive celebration between a whole bunch of different card making brands and Simon Says Stamp. They collaborate and make limited edition stamp sets that are only available while supplies last. They're one and done when they sell out. They are not restocked. But again, there's so much to choose from. All of these brands are amazing. They're owned by amazing people. They produce amazing products. Today's is with Hero Arts. Hero Arts has been making stamps for I don't even know how many decades now. It's a long time. They have a massive product catalog and they make wonderful things, and they're run by wonderful people. So I will have a link to the Hero Arts line in the description box below, along with all the other products I used to make this little card. And if you keep watching, I will show you guys how I made it. So this is the Hero Arts Make Some Noise stamp set. And it's adorable. It's got all these little critters with their musical instruments. So I pulled out my MISTI, and I have some Simon Says Stamp 120 pound white cardstock. And I'm going to ink these up and stamp them with Simon's Intense Black ink. And I wasn't paying attention when I did that. And I didn't have the cardstock like butted right into the corner. So I always like to stamp, especially with new stamps. I like to ink them up and stamp them a couple times. And when I stamped them the second time, it wasn't lined up. And I was like, but cardstock has 2 sides. Flipped it over, did it again, and we're good. And only you guys are going to know that, because when I adhere all the pieces, you won't see the back of them. You won't see the oops. So after I'd stamped them, I am using my Spectrum Noir TriBlends. I've been using them a lot this month. There's lots of line art images to color, and I've been enjoying getting more of a workout with these markers. I will have a link at the end of this video to the playlist that I have using these markers, because I've done many videos and done a lot of coloring using them since I got them back in the beginning of this year, something like that. So I'll have a link to that at the end of this video. And then the first little part of the coloring was real time, like, you know, how I color as a normal human being. And then with the magic of video editing, I can super speed this up to get this done, because otherwise my videos, 1, will just be too long, and 2, I'm scrambling this month, you know. It's been good. It has been good. I kind of enjoy the scramble in some ways. For those that aren't aware, I am a procrastinator at heart. So this is just basically procrastination on steroids. So anywho, I colored my little bear. I started with him. He was the biggest image, and, you know, I colored him and his little saxophone. I don't know why these things just, you guys know, I love the cutesy, and I just think these critters are adorable. And yeah, it's like they've got musical instruments. So fun. So I just went along and would just color each critter. And I used, I always put the caps on screen of the colors I'm using. So if people want to like pause and check that out, because I'm not good at like remembering to add, you know, script on screen or below the video or anything like that. I used to back in the day, but one, I forget, and two, right now I don't have time. But that's why I put the caps on screen so people can kind of check it out and see, you know, what colors I'm using, etc. And with some of these, I was going back and forth between, because usually I only use like one marker, because one marker has a light, a medium, and a dark. However, I do have both sets of the Spectrum Noir markers that have, there's the regular set, that'll be the first link, and then the second set is what they call the Extend. So there's more shades available, which I quite like, because I'm finding myself more and more often that I start coloring and I end up using, like right now, I grabbed the gold brown Extend to use with the gold brown blend. It just gives you a few more shade options to blend, because I do find that sometimes with the original set that some of the differences between the light, medium, and dark are too great, if that makes sense, you know, to get a proper blend. So having the Extend in a bunch of them, it just works. So I just kept going along and coloring in all these little critters, all their little musical instruments, and then finished off with this. I'm not sure if he's supposed to be a crow or a raven. I always get those two mixed up. From what I understand, I think ravens are supposed to be like way bigger. Like raven, if you see one that's like absolutely enormous, it's a raven. And if it's like just average sized, it's a crow. I'm also going off of memes I see on the internet, you know, because I have so much knowledge. I'm being sarcastic. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They're both black. Who cares? So colored them in. Took my white gel pen, added just random dots and highlights to all the things. And then for my background and the inside of my card, I'm actually using a Pretty Pink Posh stencil set. These are the layered music notes. These came out earlier this year, I think. And yeah, I was like kind of racking my brain. I was like, oh, what am I going to use for my background? I started thinking, and I was like, ooh, I remember. I've got this stencil set. It's perfect. So that's what I used. So I've got a piece of Neenah Desert Storm cardstock, and I have my card base, which is going to be a top folding A2 white note card. And I already had Post-it tape, my trusty piece of Post-it tape that I reuse a million times over until there's nothing left of it. Because you can see it's the same one I've been using in like the last 20 videos. The Post-it tape is just there on the score line to make sure I don't get ink where I don't want it. And I've got them stuck to my Waffle Flower grip mats. And I'm using Distress Oxide inks because I love oxide inks on top of Neenah Desert Storm cardstock. I love them on top of everything, really. But on top of Neenah Desert Storm, it's perfection. And I used Fossilized Amber, Mowed Lawn, and Fired Brick. I was going for kind of fall colors because in the stamp set, there's actually some leaves images. Like there's a cluster of leaves and an individual leaf. And I was originally going to use them, but like I've been saying a million times over, I have been scrambling. And I was like, I just don't have time because I don't have the coordinating wafer dies. You know, I have to fussy cut everything, which is, again, fine. But I was like, I don't think I have enough time to, you know, stamp and fussy cut a bunch of leaves. So I did the music notes in fall colors. That's the explanation of what was going through my head. So, like I always do, I blended on the Neenah Desert Storm panel. And then without re-inking my brush, and using lighter pressure is what I blended onto the inside of the card. So I get a lighter impression. It's not too intense and I can write over it. So I did that with all the colors, set everything aside. And then I grabbed a scrap of dark brown cardstock and I put that in my MISTI and I stamped one of the sentiments from the set. After using my anti-static powder tool, I stamped it with clear embossing ink. Covered it with some detail white embossing powder, melted that with my heat tool. I like the little sentiments in this set too. It could totally be like little birthday cards and things because there's like, let's celebrate. And then this one that says, let's make some noise. And I was like, that's so cute for birthday cards. But I ended up going like friendship theme because there's this other sentiment that's like grateful for friends like you. And I was like, oh, that's so cute. Like, I love it. So that one I lined up for the inside of the card and I stamped it with VersaFine Clair Pinecone ink. Just nice dark brown ink going with that fall theme. So got that stamped on the inside of the card. And then that sentiment that I heat embossed, I trimmed it down with my paper trimmer and then did the oldie but goodie trick before we had the, you know, sentiment label, wafer dies and all the things. It's funny when you know, the old memories from the old times pop up, how we would cut little notches on the edges, like I'm showing here with my scissors, to create little flag ends on our sentiments. I still do it every once in a while, and it's usually because I'm just too lazy to grab my sentiment label wafer dies. So yeah, just quickly trim those down just to give it a little something something. And then the background on the Neenah Desert Storm cardstock, that I die cut with the Pretty Pink Posh WONKY stitched rectangle wafer die. I just thought that would kind of give the card front a little more movement, which, speaking of, I thought of this after everything was done, of course, because again, thoughts come to me as I'm like editing, and it's too late. Everything's done, the photos, the video, all of it. But the bear should have been popped up with an action wobble. That would have been super cute. Like, I popped him up with thicker foam squares, so he's popped up a little bit more, but then like after I was done, I was like, oh, putting him on an action wobble so he, you know, bounces back and forth. How, you know, he'd be dancing and they're all playing music. Like, love it, love it, love it, love it. Anyway, there's another idea for it. So I also took the little music note set or stamp from the set, and I stamped that with VersaFine Claire Nocturne ink right onto the background carefully, because I was like, oh, if I mess this up, I'm going to be so not happy. But it worked. Everything's good. The card's complete. The only thing I would have added is, yeah, I still might have to very carefully peel that bear off and then pop him on an action wobble so he dances back and forth. But again, it's an idea for the future. So like I mentioned in the intro, I will have links to everything in the description box below the video, so you can check that out below if you're interested. Thank you all so very much for watching, for thumbs upping, commenting, subscribe if you haven't. I'd love to have you, and I'll see you all very soon in the next video. Bye.